So I don't know about you, but I tend to get a lot of like health, fitness, wellness content on like Instagram.
Not me. I get chocolate, candy, stuff like that. A lot of Grey's Anatomy. That's about it.
But scrolling through, a lot of times you get a ton of different information thrown at you, kind of like a sea of information. You kind of have to sift through what is true, what's not true, because you see stuff like, oh, drink this magical mushroom tea or something and improve.
Magical mushroom tea. Am I a Smurf? Do I look like a Smurf to you?
Not the psychedelic kind of tea.
Okay.
But it cures absolutely everything. But it seems like everybody and their dog is some sort of health or fitness influencer. How do you like sift through that information and know who to believe in?
Swipe, swipe, swipe. Because unless I know that they're talking from a point of education, swipe. If you're giving me tips and you're in the gym and you're jacked and you're sweaty and you're posing while giving me a tip, swipe. Don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Even if it's accurate. I'd rather hear like from somebody like Professor Huberman or something like that, like somebody who's accredited and somebody who you can research, an authority in it. You know, a lot of these influencers, I think they're putting out workout tips or health tips or beauty tips just because they want somebody to get a like, and that's how they make their money. The more likes they get, the more money they make, right? The more follows they get, you know, the more shares, etc. Whether the information is accurate or not, I don't think that there's the same respect for social media, speaking on social media, as there is like truth in journalism or something.
Yeah.
You know, the way I look at it, social media is not the Wall Street Journal or the New York Times. Social media is the Sun or National Enquirer. Like you don't know what's there. There might be a nugget of truth, but you know, there's not a lot there. So
because I get a lot of content that's like carnivore diet, so only eat meat. Like you don't need fiber, you don't need fruits and vegetables. And then other people who say don't eat meat, eat vegan. It's the most healthy for you.
There was a guy this morning I saw that said, you know, I'm going to keep it real. Like this is my body, and he took a shirtless picture and showed it, and guy looked great, shirtless. I mean, looked great. He's like, this is when I was eating a lot of carbs and also eating meat. And then he sends shows another picture, and he's like ripped. And he's like, this is also when I was eating carbs and eating a lot of meat. But the difference is I just changed what time of day I ate.
Yeah.
And I didn't change my workout at all. I'm sorry, my bullshit meter went through the roof. Because yes, when you eat and the time you eat does matter. But he didn't change his workout routine at all. There wasn't a lighting issue going on with the pictures. I don't buy it.
Yeah, it's interesting when you see people who are exposing like lighting techniques to make themselves look ripped, and you have a filter you can apply.
Yeah, I mean, there's one guy who does it, and I applaud him for it. He's like, this is how I look right now. And then he steps into the studio lighting and flexes and changes his position without cutting the camera. And he's like, now look at this is what I would post.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, I mean, it doesn't look great. I mean, I worked with a celebrity, I won't say his name, who's known for his body and his looks. And we were on the Today Show doing something, and he refused. I did not say his name. He's the nicest man in the world. And he wouldn't take his shirt off because he's like, I'm not in the best shape. And I'm like, you're in the better shape than 99% of the people in the world. And this is the nicest man you could possibly ever meet, celebrity or non. He's the absolute biggest sweetheart in the world. But he's like, I can't do it because
the best Cajun accent.
And the best Cajun accent ever as Gambit. But you know, you sit there and you go, even he's going to be self-conscious. And I knew what he looked like with his shirt off because we had been, you know, practicing the dance for a while. And he looked great, but he wouldn't take his shirt off because he's like, I need to make sure I can, you know, look the right way, you know, etc. And I get it because he's got a big franchise underneath him with Magic Mike. These people online, they don't have a franchise underneath them. They're just doing whatever they can just to get you to look at them.
Yeah.
And
it's like a dopamine kind of hit.
It's totally a dopamine hit for them. And it's also when they see their likes go up and they've got, you know, 15,000, 20,000, 100,000 likes happening, they're not realizing that these people don't like them. They don't realize that these people aren't following them. And if you look at their average time on that somebody spends on their video, it's probably like 2 seconds or less. And it's like, oh, that's hot. Boom, I'll hit it. Oh, that's hot. I feel like it's Paris Hilton. That's hot. And click it and do it. And I've stopped doing that after all. Because on Facebook, back in the day, I would click like just to show that I read your post. Now I stopped doing it on Instagram because I'm like, I'm not going to, just click like just because, you posted something. Why should you make money off of me? Show me something that's worthwhile. But also I think that some of these people they don't keep it real. And then the ones who do keep it real, I'll support them. Again, I go back to like Professor Huberman, an accredited, figure on social media that will talk about things in depth, bring on, specialists and experts in the field. And then you can listen to his podcasts, in full, and the little blurbs here and there on social media. That's different. And it'll point you to the science or whatever, why should I listen to Gino from Toms River, New Jersey, who worked out, for 5 years and now thinks that he's a fitness influencer? What's the deal with that? What knowledge do you have? And maybe he has great knowledge, but are you supporting that knowledge? Are you starting the conversation by going, there's a guy, all right, so hold on. There's a guy, Mike Fit, right? So Mike Fit, he's a guy I know from, I think he was like in Trenton, New Jersey. I met him at a convention years and years ago in Atlantic City. And he has this great following. He's a personal trainer. He's in incredible shape. He's an absolute sweetheart of a guy. And he posts every day. He's a very prolific poster. But he tells you, these are my certifications. This is what I've done. This is my nutrition background, my personal training background, my CSCS background. He goes into all of this to tell you, I'm giving you this background based on me, but do your own research.
Right.
That's phenomenal. That is what I think fitness influencers should do. Putting on a pair of Lululemon, shorts and a sports bra and posing with your butt out is not being a fitness influencer. That's being a fucking model.
Yeah, but I just get frustrated when I see statements like fruit is bad for you because it has sugar in it, so don't eat. And then meat is bad for you, or plants are bad for you.
Did you see the one this morning with the banana and then the Keebler cookies?
Yeah.
Is that the one you were referencing? He's like, well, the banana has 50 grams of sugar and the Keebler cookies only have 9.9 grams of sugar. So if you look at it, the Keebler cookies would be better for you. And I'm like, okay, break this down further. And he doesn't break it down further.
Yeah, that guy,
he's really good, but I just wish he had broken it down further.
A pretty good guy to follow, but
I wish it had just gone one step further.
Yeah, but it can get really confusing out there, especially if you're somebody who doesn't have like a nutrition education.
Or somebody to talk to about it, or know how to research it.
Yeah, all these conflicting things being said, it can get really frustrating and confusing for people. Because the nutrition education is pretty poor.
Right. We have some workout influencers who are going to be at Level Up, and we have a podcast studio there, and we're going to interview them. Like one of them being Nate Weir. Nate's known online mostly for his cosplay, but also because he used to be overweight and converted his body naturally and holistically into this. He's in insane shape. He's like in insane shape. Again, fantastically nice guy, super great. We've become friends with him over the last year. But he's going to talk about his transformation and how he did it and what education he went to get. Yeah. And he has some workout videos where he does, for beginners, he's like, look, if you can't do a regular push-up, let me show you how to do a standing push-up. Let me then show you how to progress from a standing push-up to a knee push-up, then to a regular push-up, how to build yourself up to it over time. Don't get discouraged. Like that kind of, workout and advice, that I'll take. Yeah. That I want to listen to, that I want to see. But when it's just like, dude, you should be taking your knees to your absolute pec when you're on the leg press sled, and you should be loading this up with 20 45-pound plates on either side, and and just use your tiptoes to push it. It's like, I'm going to look at you sideways on that one.
Yeah.
Because that's targeting a very, very limited audience, and a very specific audience. And some teenager is going to be, impacted by this and see this and then try to do something to that effect and then blow out their kneecaps or something.
Injured.
Yeah. It's just irresponsible. But
yeah, one of the big red flags for me with people is if somebody is making a statement that this is this and can only be this. So this is the only way to do something, or this is the only way that you should eat. In reality, it's multiple ways that you can do things. You can have different types of diets and still be extremely healthy.
It's like those people who start the videos with, did you know that eating this is going to cause cancer? Did you know that eating this is going to make you get fat?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I didn't know that eating that was going to make me get fat, because you haven't provided me any proof that it's going to make me fat or going to give me cancer or whatever. Or did you know that if you take this supplement, it's going to give you the best body ever in the gym? Really? Really? The supplement's going to give you the best body ever in the gym? Okay, great. I didn't know creatine did all the work in the gym. It'll help me.
It does.
It'll help me, but it's not going to give me the work. I have to put the work in.
Yeah.
And I think that that's where there's that mistake with social media culture. I'm actually extremely glad that I grew up without social media. It didn't exist. I mean, what did we have? AOL chat rooms with 23 people in it, and that was it. You didn't have any of these people that were influencing me, because I got my training for fitness and nutrition by taking classes and hiring the right people to educate me. I think that other people, not so much. I mean, it's really rough right now, I mean, my nephew, who's 13, CJ, he was in the gym doing stuff that he shouldn't be doing. His bones aren't developed that much to be doing that. Like, just because you see an adult doing it, that doesn't mean a kid who's 12, 13, 14 years old should be doing this.
Yeah, I look at people who are like early 20s or something that are just absolutely like jacked out of their mind, but realizing that kids now are using like performance enhancing drugs even at younger ages. And
I mean, when we talk about our product, like Focus Plus Max, which has caffeine in it, but it does happen to help with focus and attention, we have a lot of parents ask us, can my kids who have ADHD take it? And our first response is, you should talk to your doctor. Second response is, even though you're a scientist and the formulation scientist of this, and you can speak very educatedly to it, we're always like, you need to talk to your doctor first. But also, it's not recommended for people under the age of 18, because caffeine is not recommended for kids under the age of 18. Now, I had caffeine in my bottle. My mother's Italian. I had espresso as a little kid. Did I have a lot of coffee? No. Most of my coffee was like a little bit of coffee with a lot of milk, in it, or Sanka with like a lot of milk and some sugar. But I liked coffee, and I'd have Coca-Cola was like a treat. We could have it like on holidays or something like that. Or if I was at the family bar, I could take the Coke sprayer and spray it in my mouth, whatever. But most of the time it went up my nose. But, caffeine's not bad for kids in small doses, but there are kids taking energy drinks that have insane amounts of caffeine.
Yeah.
And they're pounding them before school and before tests. And it's like, I mean, I can't really say much because we took Vivarin, which had a lot of caffeine to get through our midterms and final exams and stuff like that. But like, if we were found out for that, we were in trouble, like massively, But, you sit there and you go, where are they learning this? They're learning it on social media from people who are just trying to get you to like and click without interacting with you. I can guarantee you, I don't have a lot of followers, and I can guarantee you the followers I have, I know 90% of them, I know exactly where I met them, right? Exactly where I met them, and I know about them. Guarantee you, when you have 50,000, 100,000, a million followers, half of them are bots. Half of them have liked you once, followed, and that's it. And they don't interact with you. You don't know anything about them, and you don't care about them.
Yeah.
You're caring about how many viewers you're getting and how many people are clicking like. That's the problem. And I think there's the irresponsibility of social media is going to come to play and come to a head very soon. Yeah.
They like the clickbait.
Oh, let's not start with clickbait on all the sexualization they have. These poor girls and boys that are young, teenagers and preteens, that are so impressionable right now. I get so furious when I see like my nieces who are like teenagers. Well, now they're older, but when they were tweens and teenagers, and they're standing there like thinking they're on the red carpet with their hand on the hip, and they're looking all sexualized at like 13, 14 years old. And I have had many arguments with my cousins about this, saying that is not an appropriate pose for a 13 or 14-year-old girl. Well, yes, it is. You're putting the hand on the hip and flipping into that's what celebrities do. Yes, celebrities are adults.
Yeah.
You know, or boys who are sitting there and thinking that they have to have their shirts off, you know, teenage boys have to have their shirts off or their pants hiked down a little bit or whatever. And it's like, dude, you have so much time to be an adult. Like, calm the hell down. Like, you enjoy your childhood right now in your teenage years, because it goes like that. You have the next 80 years to be an adult and do that.
Yeah, kids these days look a lot different than what I remember.
No, we didn't look like that. We did not look like that. Maybe you looked like that, but my group did not.
No.
In the 80s, we looked like shit. We looked like dorks. You ever watch The Breakfast Club? That's what we looked like.
Yeah, we looked like kids.
Yeah. And, you know, that's the thing. We wore what our parents bought for us. And, you know, I mean, I remember saving up for my first pair of Z Cavaricis, which were like designer pants back in the 80s, mid 80s, like 88, 89. And I got my first pair like my senior year in high school, and I wore them to school. And I thought I was so cool. And my mother was like, "You're not wearing those again."
Did you wear parachute pants?
I had parachute pants, and I had jackets with zippers, but that was the fashion because of Michael Jackson, right? That was the fashion back then. But I had acid wash jeans, acid wash jacket. When have you ever seen me wear a jean jacket and jean pants? I wore them all the time back then. But it's what my parents bought me.
Yeah.
And we shopped at like Sears and JCPenney's and Caldor and stuff like that. But these kids, you know, I wanted the pen that had the 4 different colors in it. Yeah. That was the big thing I wanted. These kids are like, I need the latest iPhone. And I'm like,
trying to get
two colors down at one time, you know. And these kids are like, no, I need the best iPhone. I need this, I need that. I know for a fact, my sister, it was my fault, but I was buying my sister back then when she was high school, Coach pocketbooks, like all the time. And then Louis Vuitton when she was in college, all the time. That was my mistake, because I was buying Louis Vuitton and she wanted Louis Vuitton.
Yeah.
So I bought it for her, you know, and it probably ruined her for life, because now she's like, that's what I'm entitled to.
Yeah.
Gets
accustomed to that.
They get accustomed to it. I mean, thankfully my sister's not a snob or anything like that, but she could easily have turned out to be one, you know. But I think it's the influencers culture, and I think that's going to come to a head, whether it's with fitness or whatever, until somebody recommends something and somebody dies from it. And that's when it's going to happen. Yeah. It's, you know, you go back to ephedra, when ephedra was really popular back in the 90s, right, as a weight loss, thermogenic and weight loss. I took ephedra nonstop. Like, I don't know how I didn't have a heart problem from it, because I was taking it all the time. But there was a baseball player who I think was like 22 or 23 years old in Florida who died of it, a professional baseball player. And that's when ephedra came off the market here in the States. And, you know, ephedra was bad, ephedra was bad, ephedra was bad. Imagine if somebody was having ephedra right now and pushing ephedra out there, you know, on social media, and then somebody died from it. It could be directly linked back to those influencers, and they would need to be held accountable.
Yeah.
You know,
as they should be.
Now, social media can do a lot of good things, because it can give you a community to follow, and workout community. Like I said, my friend Mike Fit, you know, that would be a great person to follow, or Nate Weir or something like that. But because then you feel good and you have a community. But there's just got to be responsibility with your program and the platform that you have. So, you know, and especially when you're doling out nutrition advice, because I remember when I became diabetic, I looked online for a lot of advice, and so many people were like, don't take Ozempic, don't take Ozempic, and I started on Ozempic, don't take Ozempic. I had tremendous results on Ozempic, you know, and then you suggested I switch to Mounjaro. I spoke with my doctor and I switched to Mounjaro, and then people now like, don't take Mounjaro, don't take Wegovy. Well, I had tremendous results on it, and I still have tremendous results. My A1C is below 5. I mean, you're from an 8.7. You know, if I listen to those other people instead of going to an educated person like you or an educated person like my doctor and finding out what will actually work for me, if I listen to just the influencer saying, you should take this or you shouldn't take this, you got to do your research.
Yeah.
You know, so that's my soapbox for today.
Cheers.
You need to get me one so we can cheers.
I don't know. I didn't get to.
No, I actually thought you bought it for me as a gift, and then you're like, no, I'm going to label it. I'm like, oh man, I never get bought gifts. We can laser engrave it with the X tool.